I had an idea that it'd be nice to show some people some quick lighting things. And I've had a fascination with a lot of things that burn. But around here, I've got a bunch of natural, like natural gasolines or quick lighters. One that I really start off with when I have a choice is just dead juniper. And because of the droughts, we've had a lot of dead juniper. But once it gets going, it just wants to go. So it's my natural gasoline. So that burns pretty nicely. This one I've never tried before, but this looks like it's dead and dry and fluffy. Let's see if it'll flash up. Woohoo! Pretty quick. I'd want a lot of that, but it catches on right away. That's a clematis, dead clematis flower off of clematis vine. These are the tops of a juniper, the seed heads. They seem to go just fine every time, and they smell good. Plain old grass, dead dry grass, seems to be a quick lighter. So you get plenty of that in your fire ladle go. One that hasn't always cooperated well, but sometimes works pretty good, is cottonwood bark, the inner bark. This one's nice and dry and doing okay. All right. Here's some sagebrush bark. We did the flowers already. Let's see what the bark will do. It's generally pretty flammable. Not quite as flammable as the other stuff. Here's some daisy, some geraniums, or actually dried heads off of I think it's a purple aster. Let's see what it'll do. Nice and burny. It looks like it's going to be more sustaining. Another one that's around here a lot, all over Utah and all over the West, are the dried tops of the yellow flowers that give everybody allergies. It's rabbit brush, and that burns really well. And then one that'll really go is dried spruce boughs. Once they get lit, they start popping. They're full of oleoresins and oils and pitches. So that's a really nice fire starter, wild gasoline. Down on the creek here just this morning, I gathered this. What am I gonna do? My lighter's out. I'm gonna die. It's not working. I'm gonna put it on full blow. See what little there it goes. So this river birch bark is very, very hot and sustains itself off. Once the flame gets going, it'll even go when it's wet or when it's rainy, humid, because it's super strong, powerful resins inside that bark. And it lasts for a pretty long time too. So you've got more than a couple minutes of fire from just the bark of river birch. Something a lot of people have around their farms or their gardens is just plain old jute. And jute burns better when you get it a little fuzzy, get some airspace into it. But I think because they put diesel on it to keep rats from eating it in South America and other places, or maybe New York City, wherever the rats live, they have to be careful not to let it be too edible and usable for nesting materials. And I didn't open it up enough, but it's a pretty sustainable fire once it gets going because of the diesel fuel that's in it. Whatever they put in it to make it, the rat poison in there makes it burn better. So there you go. That's a good one. A natural substance around here is the pitch inside of piñons and other pine trees. And once it goes, it doesn't want to quit. It's one of the nicest. It's called fat lighter in the South. We just call it pitch pine, but it burns really well. And it's a long, sustainable flame. And when you break it to really thin, pointy parts, it'll just light up really easy first try. So that's going to last a little longer than some of these others. In fact, I'll just stick that down in the ground and put it out. We might use that later. But now we're getting to just plain old bundle of sticks. And if you fray up a bundle of sticks about the size of toothpicks or smaller and get them going, they're hard to light at first, but once they get going, they support each other. And so I've got a pretty good fire going pretty fast, and that's just dead rabbit brush. There's dead rabbit brush all over the place in this part of the world. We'll throw that on. And now we're looking at, just simple stuff like a paper plate. The problem is they're quite compact, and this has been outside in the moisture. So I'm going to fray the end with my fingernail. So there's little tiny pieces that want to hopefully, kind of like that bundle of sticks idea, there'll be lots of fibers side by side. And then when I finally get it lit, maybe it'll stay lit. It's going to be harder to light and maybe more sustaining once it stays lit. Because it's pretty compact paper. They're designed to be a smooth surface that you can eat off of and it will last a little while. But it's going. So, you know, people know about cardboard and paper in our culture a lot more than they know about the names of the sticks and weeds in their yard. But this is, we're moving on into fancy modern stuff. And toilet paper and hankies seem to go up really fast. Whew. Gotta let go of that one. One of my favorites is the wax paper on the outside of butter. It lasts a while, and really because of the grease or oil in butter, it wants to go. The wax and the butter combined make a really good starter. Watch out. And if you have a first aid kit in your car and you have a need for a bandage material that's made out of cotton, you can spread those apart and get the cotton out of the inside. Sometimes you might even have a container of just cotton. If you have makeup kits or cotton tip Q-tips, you can tear those apart. But you can pull the cotton out of these and shred it. And it'll be a good fire starter sometimes just on its own. But if you have anything like chapstick around, or any of that kind of greasy, oily lip balm stuff, most of them, if you'll just put a little bit of it, not too much, and just kind of stick it on there and spread it out and then fray the ends, that'll last a long time. In fact, the more you put on there, the longer it'll burn if you need to get other wood. Let's say it's damp outside or something. So I'm just showing you a few. There are thousands of ways to start a fire and thousands of good fire starting materials. Maybe as many as there are minds in the universe. But you can tell this one has a little bit of plastic in it. So this is going to burn a little longer. It'll probably be not as healthy to breathe in the smoke, but it's got plastic in it. I didn't know that, or I wouldn't have used it. But even better sometimes is the paper that all this medical products come in. It's got lots of little things on it to make it more sealed. that burn really well, just besides paper. So we've got a fire going now, but next thing I'd like to do is make a fire lay. But why know about this stuff? Why know hundreds of ways to make a fire instead of just one? Because you'll be stuck someplace where you're going to freeze to death if you don't know how to fix the problem. And you'll have to figure out what burns and what burns good and what gets things started. So this was a little what gets things started lesson from right around here. And I gathered all this stuff in about 5 minutes right around my house. My favorite is corn chips because you can eat them when you're not burning them. Thank you.